Hey, hello. My name's the Celestial Prince, and I decided I was just gonna make an uh a podcast, I guess, called Rambling. I guess you could say the precursor to this was my video called Thunder Footage plus Rambling. I just wanted to talk, I guess, more, record it, put it up somewhere and show my friends, and then they'll give me 5 views, and then I'll feel very nice about myself. But yeah, it's very late at night. My parents are in bed. Excuse me. So I figured it's a better time to record a podcast called Rambling that I just made up after watching my old Thunder Footage plus Rambling videos. If you hear clicking and keyboard noises, it's because I'm gaming while doing this. And if I go quiet, it's because I'm focusing. Um, yeah, I just like, you know, rambling. As I said in my only true Celestial fans will know, as I said in my video, more Thunder Footage plus rambling, that I have ADD. And because I wanted to be a YouTube gaming channel when I was younger, I would always talk to myself like other people were listening anyway. So it comes a little naturally. Uh, I bet you I'm gonna get all these like um, sub for sub. Whoa, sub for sub things on this. So yeah, essentially, just the concept of this podcast is I'm rambling about. It doesn't really matter what. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't need to explain more than that. Just it's me rambling to myself and posting it online for the world to see. Uh, I don't even know what I'm gonna do for like a title or little photo that you have to put on videos. Maybe I'll make my own little crappy logo for Rambling, the podcast, and then upload it. I don't know. I don't even know how long I'm gonna ramble. Or about what. You know what? You know what I'll ramble about? I'll ramble about the game I'm playing. So the game I'm playing right now is Enter the Gungeon. And honestly, I would put footage of that game over my talking so that this podcast was somewhat interesting and not just a still photo. But I don't have screen recorders and I don't want to download one because I'm lazy. So, and I enjoy the game a lot. I actually have like hundreds of hours in it. I've gone pretty far in it. It has unexpectedly way more story than it even deserves to like have in it. Like seriously. And everything's tied together somehow and it's amazing. And I just like the little bit of story that's set up, it's just like a rogue dungeon crawl. So you expect it to like not have a story almost whatsoever because nobody talks, almost nobody talks, and the few NPCs that do talk don't really say much, especially lore or story wise. So why would you expect it to be anything like that? And there's so many secrets in it that like I don't even know how people found out about them. It's just crazy. It's a good game. It's just insanity how good, how unironically good it is. The story, just crazy to me, and it's and the gameplay is completely solid too. It's just it's like kind of bullet hell ish. I wouldn't call it Tohu by any stretch of the imagination. It's completely different. I don't really, like it's not a shoot 'em up either, but there are bullet patterns and bosses that you have to memorize in order to dodge them and not take any health, and health is scarce. So I guess you could consider it a bullet hell game. It's a bullet hell dungeon like dungeon crawling roguelike. That's the term I'm looking for. I'm actually kind of playing like crap compared to how I usually play. Probably because I'm rambling. Not really a game that's good for talking over. Well, talking while playing games is hard anyway. Usually. Oh, I died. I died to the first level boss. I'm good at gaming. Um, but yeah, and there's so many things you have to do. And like, I don't want to specifically talk about them either because I feel like it'd be. Oh, I just got the worst loadout. Um, because I feel like everybody who picks up this game needs to not know as much about it as possible, other than it's a roguelike shoot 'em up bullet hell. That's the only stuff they need to know about it. Dungeon crawl, I guess. Everything else, because well, to a certain extent, you just have to keep your eyes open for story and lore and um, potential foreshadowing and secrets. There's so many secrets in this game that I only figured out because I decided to do a deep dive on the wiki that exists for the game. And like, it's insane how do you even know to do that? Like, how many hours would I have had to put into this game more than I already have to figure out the same things I did after I like found out about the Gungeon wiki? A lot, like half of my lifetime, I think. Such a well-made game, though. I don't know about Exit the Gungeon, though. I haven't heard almost anything about it, which makes me think that nobody plays it. But I mean, it looks good. Yep. Maybe I should be a little quieter. Um, I don't actually know if anything I'm saying is being recorded, because before when I tried to minimize my mic voice recorder thing that comes with my laptop, it freaked out and stopped my recording. Luckily, I hadn't said too much at that point. This time, I have said a lot, so I'm a little screwed if it ends up pausing, if it paused my stuff. Yeah, good game. Uh, there's so many references, so many pop culture references that are part of the world in this game. It's like I'm pretty sure like 50% of the lore is just their own takes and references on pop culture stuff. And a lot of it I don't get, but a lot of it I do get. And I think getting those references is often, well, that's the joke, really. Being like, oh, I see what you're referencing. That's pretty funny that they put that in the game, you know? Other things are just completely random. One of the one of the developers said they were gonna make everything in the game a mimic, and so there's so many mimic things and things joked that are supposed to be mimics. It's funny, but also like almost completely over the top, like unneeded. And sometimes I think it goes a little too far. Or like a lot of times people like hypothesize or theorize that something is a mimic because that guy said everything has to be a mimic that just like has a face on it. So yeah, mimics are kind of brutal in this game if you don't know what you're doing. Chess mimics and wall mimics exist too, actually. How long have I been recording? Not very long. This game has a multiplayer, but it's like it's almost criminal how they made the multiplayer work, honestly. One of my biggest complaints about the game. So, because they couldn't afford to do servers, which is completely understandable, they did the whole thing on Steam, at least. I mean, on console it's different because you just need another controller. Um, on PC, it's... Hold on. Called Remote Play? Steam has it? Remote Play? Some of you guys might have heard of it. Some of you guys, I'm not talking to any random people I don't know, most likely. But, um, what's I saying? Oh, Remote Play. And it sucks. It's really bad. Um, the person has to be in, like, the same house, the same room as you in order for it to work. And, on top of that, this is all for Steam, like I said before. For consoles, you can just, get another controller and hand it to somebody. And it unlocks the crappiest character in the game, which is the cultist child, who's this little boy who's upset that he's player 2 instead of player 1. And he has no good weapons, and I hate it. And you can't choose any other character to play if you're player 2. So somebody's always stuck playing him. There are so many good characters with good. Each one has a different play style because of the weapons and skills they have, and so it's so cool. Like I can just think of the combinations that that groups could come up with that would be so fun to play, but you can't do them because they made it so that everybody has to play the cultist child. I think it might have been a balancing thing, honestly, maybe because of you know people might just end up excuse me cheating the game, or maybe it would be too easy with two of the normal Gungeoneers. Yes, that's the name of the heroes. Player characters, Gungeoneers, and I love it. The game is full of puns, by the way. So if you don't like bad puns about guns, stay away from it, I guess. Um, Yeah, but I just think about how cool it would be. But I think the developers were worried that it would completely unbalance the game, and somebody could just absolutely plow through the game if they had somebody else remote playing with them, and it wouldn't be a challenge. Which is fair, I guess. I'm not a game developer. Like, I'm not gonna try and be like a lot of those people who aren't game developers who try and give game developers advice or act like they know somehow like what to do. Like, I'm not that type of person. I don't know. Maybe they're completely right, and it would break the game entirely. I'm just saying, think about how cool it would be to play multiple of the normal Gungeoneers instead of the cultist baby, the cultist child, or whatever the heck he's called. You just think about, to the few of you who will see this, who do know about Gungeon, think about the playstyles. How cool it would be if you could team up the let me think. Well, uh, the ranger and the prisoner, for example. I think they're actually called the inmate or something. But they're really cool. That would be really cool because the the inmate, she's all about close range and revenge kills, because whenever she takes damage, she does double damage back in a state of rage that she gets from taking damage. And that would just rock as a move. It'd be immensely cool. So to combine those two, close range and far range, or a little bit of spoilers, but not really. I think most people know he's in the game. I guess a lot of people probably never heard of Gungeon, probably don't know about him. He's called the Bullet. He's one of the bullets that are typically enemies, but he wields a sword called Blasphemy. Everything's based around guns, and I thought that's pretty funny. Um, he's all about close range too, obviously, with the sword. So I think it would be really cool to combine that with the inmate, or even the marine. Um, be cool. Just, I think the game would be so much better with co-op where you didn't have to play the cultist baby or whatever the heck his name is. Like, it would be so much fun. Also, not having to deal with how bad remote play is, that you have to be on the same Wi-Fi and in the same house as somebody else in order to even get it working. But I guess if you have it on Switch, that's probably the best if you want to play it multiplayer. Because obviously, you can just. Actually, I don't know if it's compatible with that, actually. I'd have to look it up. Uh, is Gungeon. Is Gungeon for the Switch multiplayer? Okay, but what about for the Switch? Here we go. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it seems like the easiest way to do it would be um, the Switch, because you can just take off one of the Joy Cons, give it to your friend. Boom. Either have it on your home TV or out in the wild. Shockwave. That doesn't sound good. You know. And I died. Yeah, it really is hard to play this while you're talking. Your own slow reflexes. But yeah, just it'd be so fun. It's a little bit of a like. Why would you even not allow people to do that? To force them to use the cultist. I think it's just the cultist, but he's a little baby boy. He's young, so be really fun. Yeah, but I understand that they are an indie um, developer, so it would be very hard to have online servers. Really, that's more of a minor complaint compared to why don't you let people choose whatever Gungeoneer they want to take along with. Yep, one of those games you just gotta play. Because even at the early levels, when you're getting your butt kicked on Chamber 1, uh, I think it's still pretty easy to find the addicting and fun side of it. And then if you put the time into it, it's super fun to just see how much you evolve into being good at the game, weaving past and just knowing inherently and reacting to bullet patterns without even like consciously thinking about it. And sometimes the game uses that against you, actually, because it's tricky like that. It's super satisfying. Like I remember when I get to floor 2 and chamber 2, and I was like, "Wow, this is a grave achievement," and then I'd freak out because there were new enemies with new bullet patterns, and I was like, "How is this?" What did I say? In reaction to the Iron Maiden, I went like, "Oh, how could this be just a normal enemy? Just more like a boss enemy. How could you ever avoid any of these attacks?" And now I'm just like, I blast through the second chamber as fast as I do the first one, with almost taking no damage. It's just super satisfying to see how you progress in that way. This is a sword fight between a gun knight and me. The bullet. Gotcha. You guys can't even see what I'm talking about. So definitely pick it up. Like, my friend got it for free, and he on the PS4, because I think it was one of those things they do sometimes where they give games out for free, indie games. And he was like, "Wow, this game's actually really good," and like I like it a lot. And I was like, "See, I can't believe I got this for free." That's what he told me, and I was like, "See, it's a really good game." Oh, sorry about the sniffling there. So just try it. You can refund it. Steam has refunds. So maybe just get it on Steam. If you can't get it on Steam, then try it, and I hope you like it. Or maybe get Steam. I mean, I've run this game on pretty crappy computers, so it's not like it because it's a pixel game. It has pixel art, so I feel like it doesn't take much to run. Thank you. And the jokes and the cool things that you can find, it's just all worth it. It's worth it to just try it at the very least. And if you don't like it, refund it or download it or whatever. Uh-oh. Um but maybe even if you're starting not to like it, I recommend like looking through the wiki and all the cool stuff you can do that's essentially a secret that you have to figure out yourself. And trust me, you'll like because a lot of times it kind of feels like, well, what am I even trying to do? Because like I skipped past the opening sequence where it tells you like the object of your quest, which is to find a gun in the last chamber of the dungeon that supposedly is able to turn back time. So you can fix the mistakes of your character's past. But I didn't know that. So a lot of times you can feel like, well, what's even the point of this game? You're just doing the same thing over and over again. Like, isn't this just insanity? But no, there actually is. There is a reason, a rhyme and a reason, and different things you can do, different side quests, and all of that, and slowly growing up your arsenal of things that you can find in the dungeon to get more and more destructive and unstoppable. It's really fun. It's just really fun. And I feel like there is a community for it. Well, obviously, they were able to make a sequel. So, obviously, there is quite the community out for it. But I feel like it still doesn't get enough recognition that it should, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Uh, so, excuse me, by the way. Sorry about that. I had pizza. Just, it's good fun. There's so many things to like about it. There's not a lot to dislike. Speaking of indie games and sequels, anyone of people watching this heard of or played the Darkest Dungeon sequel? It's supposed to be really good, actually. I am skeptical. First of all, because it's only on Epic Games Store, and I hate Epic. I'm totally opposed to Epic, personally, because of their business practices and what they've been doing. I think it's completely insane. And also, I hate Fortnite. And they're the creators of Fortnite. And they can go die. That's a joke. But I actually do despise Fortnite. So that wasn't the joke. Um, Fortnite bad, bottom text. So yeah, because I don't know if you probably have heard or just gathered this much from what you've seen. But essentially, what they did is attempt to make a monopoly, in my opinion. Like, there are a lot of people that use Epic Game Store now. So, but it's because they're trying to, like, completely do like a Rockefeller and buy out the competition, essentially. So, what they're doing is that they'll go to game developers of big games. I'm talking things like Metro Exodus, big games, and smaller, really good indie games that have a big following too. And they'll go, look, man, we're going to pay you a crap ton of money if you keep this out of the hands of Steam and don't release this on Steam. And we'll give you a lot, like a better cut than you would get from putting it on both Epic and Steam. And they do that with big games and pretty big indie games too. And so because of that, directly because of that, and they're doing this on purpose. It's not like they do it, ooh, look at a little doggy. But so directly because of the strategy. Oh, jeez. What Epic does is getting by forcing these guys or willingly negotiating, at first negotiating, later on forcing them to only release their games on Epic. Sorry for the sniffling. On Epic Game Stores, it forces the fans of this game, because Epic Game Store is the only place you can get it, of these series of games, to finally go to Epic Game Stores and start using Epic and putting money into Epic Game Stores instead of keep on using Steam like they've always done. They're specifically doing this, and this is monopoly tactics. I'm talking like from the freaking Gilded Age here. Like, this is straight up what I would personally consider McCarthy? What's his name? Owner of Standard Oil. Shoot, what's his name? McCarthy. Wait, no. Standard Oil. Monopoly. Rockefeller. This is straight up Rockefeller monopoly tactics being used, in my opinion. Okay, like, it can be you can argue about this, but in my personal opinion, and as somebody who considers himself a homebrew historian, as I like to call myself, who knows a lot about history, I would literally say that them doing this is essentially Rockefeller tactics. This is almost exactly taken from the playbook of McCarthy. Of why do I keep trying to say McCarthy? Of Rockefeller, to force he would force people who produce oil, or not to make oil or whatever, but companies who transport oil, that's what it is, sorry, to lower their prices for Standard Oil, which means Standard Oil could lower their prices compared to the competitors who had to pay more for their oil to be transported in order for Standard to always be cheaper, the cheaper option, which would automatically mean that customers would flock to Rockefeller Standard Oil Company to get their oil, and would completely bankrupt the competition, and then he would go in and buy up the company afterwards. Now, the second part they're not doing, but this is blatantly Epic is doing a Rockefeller monopoly tactic in order to get more customers to be forced to come to Epic, because the games they want and the products they want are on Epic only, because Epic forced the producers of the games to only put it on Epic, or negotiated it and bribed essentially by giving them more of the cut or whatever for game sales or what have you, in order to have it only show up on that game, on that game on their system. And so how this ties in with Darkest Dungeon is Darkest Dungeon 2 technically came out. It's still in like its alpha or beta stages or whatever it's called, but it's technically out for the public and you can buy it, but only on Epic Game Stores. And I have no clue if they're ever going to put it out on Steam or anything else, because Epic always likes to snare them in. So that forces all the Darkest Dungeon fans to try and go and to have to go to Epic Game Stores in order to play the game. And it's so stupid and I hate it. No, thank you. And so I don't know how good the game actually is because I haven't played it at all. And I mean, it looks pretty good. They added a new character, the Arsonist. I think that's their name. Not sure actually. But I'm a little skeptical about the graphic choice they went to. Not only because I don't think my computer will be able to run it, but yeah, that's sad. I know. But because it's not like it's not Darkest Dungeon anymore. It's different. It's hard to explain if you don't know the changes they made. But instead of dungeon crawling, you're traveling to a mountain, the Mountain of Madness, in order to save the world from doomsday. Yeah, it's complicated. And so it's very different from how it used to be. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Yep. This run's going pretty good. I guess I'm getting used to talking. Actually, how long has this been going on for? Oh, we're over the time frame, folks. I guess I'm gonna have to tie this up, huh? Wait, what did I leave? Uh-oh. No! No, I didn't mean to... I hate you. The rat took my stuff. I hate the rat. The rat can go die. I think I'm gonna end this here, and then try and upload it, and then go to bed. Yep, sounds like a plan. So, I don't really have an ending planned off. This is the Celestial Prince telling you to have a safe ride home, and to love one another, and to have a good night. Good day.